Okay, Virgo, I'm going to jump right in. I have done some tarot readings and got some channeled messages and kind of ready to just give y'all a little talk. First of all, Virgo, release your fears around vulnerability. Believe that things are going to work out. I think some of you are struggling with a certain decision, maybe some kind of maybe opening up about something. It seems like there was something around the end of the year that maybe it was I don't know, something that happened, an action, a communication, whatever it was. It might be holding you back right now. Perhaps there was maybe something you were embarrassed about, or I don't know, maybe a choice you made that perhaps you deem as a mistake, but could be a choice. Anyway, I got a really strong message from Spirit. It says, release your fears around opening up to that or accepting your truth around that, maybe sharing that or whatever. It's going to work out. So just let go of the fear. Well, the way that you're going to do that is you're going to step into your light. You're going to step into your light and speak your truth. Meaning you're stepping out of the darkness. Whatever, I don't want to say secret or whatever you kind of kept hidden in the dark. Step into the light. You know, Venus in retrograde and some of these eclipse energies, they kind of shed a shadow, but also shift an alliance with the truth. And it's really powerful when you decide to just sort of move with confidence. Now, whether this is some obligation or some kind of responsibility or even conversation or accountability, now is the time, all right? Now is the time to rise and continue your own platform, your own foundation building. It's really imperative that you don't let the opinions of others veer you from your path, you know? It's really important that you pay attention to your own values and beliefs and don't let other people's opinions sway you from those, you know? Perhaps you have regret over a financial decision that you made, maybe some kind of a collaboration or agreement that you made at the end of the year or beginning of the year. Whatever it is, maybe even it's like communication or a conversation that you had that you keep kind of reflecting back on, wishing that you didn't do it or wishing that you'd been transparent about this in a certain angle. Don't worry about it. Walk with confidence. Whatever it was, whatever it is, it's not as big as you're making it out to be. Please, don't worry. Focus on gratitude instead of loss. Really give yourself credit for how far you've come. You know, you have so much to be grateful for. And when we fail to fully understand that, which is common, it really is significant in the way that the energy in the universe works with you. Any kind of mistakes that we make are always opportunities, you know, always opportunities to learn a lesson or, you know, to open up and have humility, accountability. All of those qualities are very character building and sometimes a choice or a mistake you made that you regret really opens the door to build trust by communicating with someone you love, trust by discovering your inner truth and seeing the lesson in that. Whatever you're insecure about alchemize into confidence. Be proud. Be proud of the work you've done. There's this energy of receiving that I want you to really step into, you know, really begin to receive the love and support in your community, perhaps a relationship that you have. Virgo, sometimes you guys are so critical on yourself that you start to kind of build a wall of judgment, of your own self-imposed judgment. And you might even project that onto other people in your life, maybe thinking that they would judge you, when the reality is quite the opposite. Really have confidence. It's really important that you kind of unblock yourself by holding on to fear and step into the energy of receiving, you know? Reciprocity. That's always like a main goal in relationships. And if you have been taking a little more than giving, it's time to balance everything out, you know? Give a little bit more. Sometimes reciprocity isn't exact, like this for that. Sometimes it sort of works in different ways. Like perhaps you've been giving something, receiving something else. And that's good. That's harmony. Just make sure that you are being treated fair and make sure that you're treating other people fairly. In the end, even if you might have to step into the unknown or take a risk that something might result negatively, have negative results, you know, those are those moments where you're really living, you know? Those are those moments where you take a risk and embrace your own vulnerability and trust. You know, even if you do things the same way as you did them once before, the results are going to be very different because you have grown. You've been doing so much work on yourself, going through these shifts and really seeing yourself clearly, that nothing will ever be the same. No results are going to be the same. Everything has changed. So trust that just free will and changing your vibration to a higher vibration, it's going to change the result in everything, you know? Maybe in the past you opened up or shared or, I don't know, had some communication that backfired. Well, perhaps that was a consequence of the way that you shared or the way that you embraced your own inner truth. You know, there's transparency and there's full transparency. And there's a huge difference between the two. Partial transparency is kind of manipulative. I don't like using the word gaslighting, but sometimes partial transparency with yourself can kind of gaslight yourself. It's really important to dig into the subtleties in truth, because that's where the true consequences actually lie. And a lot of those consequences are wonderful. The word consequences sounds so like, oh no, it's coming for you. But most of the beautiful things that we have and enjoy in this life are consequences because of the good decisions we've made. And so don't be afraid to turn things around, you know? This is a really important time. Now, just as it's important to communicate with others, it's really important to receive communication properly. Pay attention to the difference between reacting and responding. When somebody shares something that requires them to be emotionally vulnerable, take it in. Take a moment to really absorb the energy that they're bringing to you and receive it properly. Respond with care and confidence and wisdom, or don't respond at all. Sometimes it's just about you receiving. You know, what are your beliefs right now? Like, what are your morals when you don't compare yourself to other people? This whole this whole Venus retrograde, has been a really interesting time to sort of reevaluate what you believe in and kind of think about why you believe in it. It's like a time to let go of the things that no longer serve you. I know you hear this all the time, but let go of the belief systems that no longer serve you. Sometimes we unconsciously follow a pack or a group of people or even an influential person in our life, friend, family member, without even knowing. Sometimes somebody else's belief system just makes sense, and inadvertently, you might overlook the opportunity to really define your own personal belief system. Now is the time. You're starting to really think clearly, see things illuminated. And that right there, designing your own life, designing what you feel confident about, what you feel is right, wrong, or maybe doesn't even need to be right or wrong, or just be. It's important that you write your own contract right now. And even in relationships, not every relationship has a title and a way to go about moving within that title. You know, relationships are just how two people see it and agree to move within it. So don't be afraid to fine-tune your relationships, whether it's a friendship, platonic friend or family relationship, or a romantic relationship, or partnership, or maybe even a marriage. You know, what's important to you in all of your relationships is very individual. And with the right kind of communication, you can set boundaries that will allow you to keep people in your life. And you can listen to other people's boundaries, which will allow you to respect the people that are in your life. And if you begin to practice this in a very mature way, you'll start to develop really deep and secure, long-lasting relationships that reflect where you are right now. It's the time right now to just sink into thinking about these things that might seem a little small or trivial right now, but those little things, those little communications with one another, that's everything. That's really how we show love, is by being vulnerable and letting people know what our fears are and what our desires are and what mistakes we've made and what we've learned. So, Virgo, drop your defenses, drop those walls, drop those fears, and head right into what you might fear could cause conflict with the faith that that opportunity could develop trust, could actually let go of burdens that you've been carrying around, maybe just by avoiding realizing a certain truth, or avoiding having a meaningful conversation with someone that you care for. Even having a harsh conversation with somebody who may be taking advantage of you, or you feel hasn't been really offering you what you've been offering them. Reevaluate certain connections, and if they're not even, make them even. And if you can't, end them. Things from the past may be resurfacing right now, just because this is the time to deal with them. We're really moving fast right now. The universe is listening, and the universe is serving up some karma. It's time right now to shed light on where you've been, what you've done, what you've learned, and how you should move forward. All by focusing on where you're at. Forget regret. Regret will make you vulnerable to a cycle of emotional unwell. You can't have regret and gratitude at the same time. If you wish you would have done something differently, then you're kind of telling the universe that you're not grateful for where you are right now. It's what you do with the mistakes that you make that defines your character. And it's never too late. It's never too late at all. I know sometimes I feel like time heals all, and, I procrastinate, maybe let things go in hopes that I can avoid a conflict or avoid doing some work on myself, and it never works. Time actually just multiplies the conflict. It actually just makes things in my mind seem bigger than they really are. So whether you're making some self-discoveries about actions that you took 10 years ago, or 4 years ago, or in January, whatever it is, allow yourself the kindness and the forgiveness and the understanding that all of those choices that you made for a reason, and that's for you to be right here, right now, and handling your life in a way that you never have before. The kind of growth that you've been making is basically building a whole new you. So don't be afraid to love, make commitments, open up, care about others, and care about yourself. It's time that you stop being so critical. Perfectionism is never the goal. Growth is the goal. I know that this whole Venus retrograde time has really kind of taken away some of the general emotional triggers that you used to feel and intensified some others. But now that we have the moon in Virgo, there's a practicality that kind of washes over you. It's kind of like you're finally looking at things through a different lens, through your lens, a lens that makes sense. And don't focus on the criticisms surrounding your choices or actions of the past, or maybe even current energies. Focus on the strength and the wisdom and the ability that you have to learn from them, and the opportunity to balance out your recollections with all the great things you've been doing. Virgo, you're really hard on yourself in a way that I think like your ego may keep you alive by being like, yeah, I'm a Virgo. I'm hot shit. and you are. But focus more on your like self-love, that really inner acceptance. Yeah. When you kind of weigh out the great things that you've done, your kindness, your generosity, your willingness to understand, care, with trivial mistakes or opportunities to learn, you're going to see that you're a really great person that has really good values. In fact, Virgo, you guys are the most empathetic sign in the zodiac. And most of the mistakes you've made has been overthinking things and not just trusting your intuition or avoiding conflict. Those are all stepping stones, just on your way to enlightenment or emotional maturity. Everything has changed, and be proud of yourself because you deserve love. Not just to give love and hope that you receive it, but you deserve reciprocity in your love. You deserve to receive the kindness and the loving treatment that you give others. I hope that this message helped you, and I hope you have a great rest of the month. Thank you.